13-year-old Khalil from Gaza just landed in Chicago to receive medical treatment. He lost both legs to Israeli bombing in April and was welcomed by members of the biggest Palestinian community in the US. Tens of thousands of Palestinians call this area home.
كيف شعور خليل مبسوط إن شاء الله؟
والحمد لله مبسوط إن شاء الله. هو متأمل كثير إنه يركب رجليه لأنه يرجع يمشي زي أول.
The city of Chicago is also about to host the Democratic National Convention. As the US continues to arm Israel for its assault on Gaza, many from this community feel betrayed by the party they've historically supported.
The entire world is watching. They're going to see the biggest protest for Palestinian rights ever in the history of Chicago.
As the death toll in Gaza rises to over 40,000 killed, we talk to organizers and community members in Chicago's Little Palestine about their message to the Democratic Party and how they might vote this November. We met up with Palestinian American organizer Nida Sahouri. In the community, she's known as Khalto Nida or Aunt Nida, and she's seen at all the protests.
What's the alternative? The alternative is just to sit home and just do nothing and just criticize. I believe that if you want to change something, you have to change it with your hands.
In May, she ripped up a permit application to protest at the DNC after city police raided an encampment at DePaul University.
We're gonna be protesting no matter what. Thank you.
Nida says that in the 40 years she's lived in Chicago, she's witnessed the Palestinian community grow significantly.
So you just feel like you're in Palestine. That's why it's called Little Palestine. You feel like you're in the West Bank. When my mom came and visited me, the first time she's like, oh, it feels like you're in Ramallah. So you see the culture, you see the stores with Arabic names.
We met with her at her house, which was filled with artifacts from her homeland.
Tattoos is very important for Palestinians because every city had its own colors and its own embroidery. So traditionally it was for dresses, for women. And now they're just making a lot of different things with it. Now Israel is trying to steal the embroidery. If you go there, they claim it. They're claiming our embroidery now. And that's why we want to try to make sure that we keep it for us.
Nida is the Chicago Chair for American Muslims for Palestine, an organization that teaches people about Israel's occupation of the Palestinian territories. She says that while her focus is on a ceasefire in Gaza, the situation is also dire in the West Bank, where her family is from.
Settlers in the West Bank are attacking day in and day out. I just came back. It's bad. Like it's not safe. Settlers and soldiers can attack any village they want.
Palestinian and Arab American voters have historically voted Democrat, but the party has lost support for arming Israel's war on Gaza.
Democrats, whether it's Biden or Harris, Democrats failed us big times. They dehumanized us. We are demanding that we are looked at as humans.
Palestinian migration to Chicago began in the 1890s during a time of broader migration from the Middle East to the US. Most of the early Palestinian immigrants were men who would come to work in the US, traveling back and forth between Chicago and Palestine. But when that became more difficult in the 1930s and 40s, they started buying property and opening shops. After the 1948 Nakba, where Zionist militias forced over 750,000 Palestinians from their homes, the families of the men who had come to Chicago made their way to the US too.
When I grew up in the 70s and 80s, the vast majority of the Palestinian community lived in Southwest Chicago proper.
Hatem Abu Daya is an organizer with the US Palestinian Community Network.
But in the last 20 years or so, they've really all moved out to the southwest suburbs.
Hatem says the Palestinian community moved to the suburb of Bridgeview, Illinois, and created Little Palestine.
We were able to buy a lot of property, be able to buy businesses, able to buy homes, establish like a real hub here.
Now, around 85,000 Palestinians are estimated to live in the Chicago metro area, the largest Palestinian community in the country. Hatem is also a spokesperson for the Coalition to March on the DNC, an affiliation of at least 150 organizations planning to protest Israel's ongoing genocide.
We have three main demands. One is end USA to Israel, stop the genocide, and stand with and free Palestine. Those are the broad demands. But the goals are for the world to see that Palestine has enormous support.
Even though Joe Biden is no longer the Democratic candidate, the coalition says it has the same demands for Kamala Harris.
Kamala Harris is a part of this administration. She's in the leadership of the administration. These policies are her policies. And we haven't seen anything or heard anything from her to believe that she's going to have a different position.
Hatem says while some may fear a second Trump presidency, his focus is on the DNC because Democrats are the ones in power.
If the Republicans were in party and Trump was already the president and this genocide was going on, then that would have been the event of the season. And the tens of thousands would have been going there. But the reason they're here is because the Democrats are in power, because Biden is the one who's complicit, and Kamala Harris and Blinken, all of the top Democrats in this country are responsible. They are complicit in the genocide, they have blood on their hands, and they're the ones that allow it to happen.
But this isn't the first time anti-war demonstrators have protested a DNC hosted in Chicago. In 1968, an estimated 10,000 people protested the Vietnam War at the convention. Chicago police injured and arrested hundreds. While protesters were being rounded up by the police, the crowds chanted, "The whole world is watching."
This is the event of the season. The entire world is watching. They're going to see the biggest protest for Palestinian rights ever in the history of Chicago.
A week before the 2024 DNC, we found this art and rhythm build where organizers were practicing chants and building drums.
Can you tell us what you're doing here today?
Creating ruckus for the DNC.
So we came together tonight to make instruments, decorate them, and then, get ready to bring the rhythm with our contingent.
Well, the truth is, the Democrats have always sold themselves as, the party of the working class, and they never have represented us. We know Kamala isn't going to represent the working class. She's proven it with her track record. So just because it's a brown face in a high place, it doesn't mean anything to us.
I've seen too many dead children, broken up families to ever think about checking a box near the Democratic Party on the ballot.
Corporate Democrats or corporate Republicans are one and the same. They are both funded by AIPAC lobbies, corporations. They really don't represent the American voice.
We'll continue to march, organize, and raise hell until we get an arms embargo and a permanent ceasefire.
Even those within the Democratic Party have criticized the administration.
The Biden administration absolutely let us down by unconditionally supporting Israel's genocide.
Abdel Nasser Rashid is Illinois' first ever Palestinian American state representative. He grew up in Little Palestine.
What you see in Little Palestine is a really real community cohesion. People know each other, it is a tight-knit, people care about each other, people look out for each other.
Abdel Nasser says he believes most Americans want the US to act differently.
The Biden administration has enacted policies that go against what the average American wants. The average American wants us to use our tax dollars to provide better health care, to provide affordable housing, to tackle climate change, not to send more bombs, more US-made weapons to Israel that then get dropped on civilians throughout Gaza.
But he says that the convention and a new candidate might be an opportunity for change.
I think the fact that President Biden withdrew from the race and now Vice President Harris is the Democratic nominee gives us an opening, gives her an opening to truly engage with young people, with people of color, with progressives across the country, not to mention, of course, the Arab and Muslim community who want to see a transformational change, a fundamental break from the policies of our government that have supported genocide.
For the residents of Little Palestine, the first step a Kamala Harris administration must take is straightforward.
To start with, we need to stop funding the genocide. We need to cease fire and we need to feed the people in Gaza.
But organizers say they're seeing a change in how Israel's occupation of Palestinians is viewed by the world.
People recognize it's not just an issue of stop killing Palestinians, it's end the occupation and end the colonization and allow Palestinians to return to their homes. And that's the only way that you can bring peace to the entire region.